Welcome everyone to another edition of Pillar to Post. Now I am your host Pete Wall, and like I said, this is Pillar to Post, and we are going to run our previews and predictions of this weekend's WWE pay-per-view event, Extreme Rules. Almost forgot the name of it. That's how important it is to me. I try and be positive at the beginning of my shows, but this pay-per-view on paper is by far and large one of the sloppiest thrown together pay-per-views that WWE has done in a long time. So it's hard to be positive about something like this. Now, before we get going, I do want to give a shout out to all the subscribers here on YouTube. I want to give a shout out to all the followers on VidMe. And I want you all to do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. Hit the little bell that gives you notifications every time I upload or do live streams. Also, hit that like button. Help this channel grow. We're trying to build a community here. And to build a brand such as Pillar to Post, it has become very difficult to do here on YouTube.com because, frankly, YouTube has shown that the podcasts that cover wrestling events and talk about wrestling in general are basically beneath them. We are talking about violence, and I don't understand what is so violent about wrestling, but that is for another show. We're going to talk about that maybe on Shooting from the Hip this weekend, next week on Thursday. I recently just uploaded my first walkthrough of The Last of Us, and I think we're on part 7. That's going to be coming today. Also, check out the Resident Evil 7 Biohazard part 1 that I just put up last night. My first time playing these games, people. I just recently bought my PS4, my very first PS4. I bought it used, but I got lucky. I got 8 games with it, and so I'm trying them all out. Now, I started off with The Last of Us. I'm playing that right till the end because, damn, what a game that is. The storyline that they put behind it, the graphics, everything involved in that game was done on a top level. And this is a game from 2014. So it tells you that they had their shit together. Now, Resident Evil, I've seen a few people here on YouTube do a walkthrough of it. I didn't stick with the whole series, but I got that with the PS4, and I want to try it myself. And damn, people, if you like a good horror game, this is the game to get, because I don't flinch easy, I don't jump easy, but this game, when Big Daddy comes out, man, you jump like a motherfucking chicken shit. It is just one of those things that you pop for, and that's what makes this game great. So I love playing these games. I'm sticking it through. I've got some other ones here. Tomb Raider, the definitive edition. I've played Tomb Raider back on the N64, but nothing recently. I've got BioShock. I tried it out a little bit. I don't know if it's a game for me, and there are others. I've got some, I think Sniper Elite 3 I want to try out. So there's a lot of games coming to the Pillar to Post channel. I wanted to start off with The Last of Us and Resident Evil 7. Now, I do want to apologize to the people that were watching the live stream last night. I had a little accident. I had to unplug my microphone from the PS4, and I accidentally hit the off switch. So it was a very abrupt ending to my part 1 walkthrough of Resident Evil 7. So I do apologize for that. There is more coming today. Also, I should give a shout out to my sponsors. And my sponsor, as you all know, if you've been watching, is Audible. Now, today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. You can get a free audiobook download and a free 30-day trial at www.audibletrial.com/pillar2post. Now they have well over 200,000 titles to choose from, and any genre you can think of. So they have it for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player, and so many more, traveling devices that you might use in your everyday life. So, be it at the gym or going for a long drive, you always have that option to have a book read to you. And, you get something out of helping out the channel as well as helping out Audible. So, you're promoting Pillar to Post, you're promoting Audible at the same time. On top of that, if you don't feel like sticking out your 30-day free membership or sticking out further past that, you can end your membership and still keep your free audio book. So keep that in mind. Do me a favor. Use that link I just gave you. It will be in the description below so you don't forget it. It's audibletrial.com/pillar2post. So, like I said, help the channel grow. We're trying to build a community here. Now, for Pillar to Post merchandise as well as Circle of Steel merchandise, and if you don't know what Circle of Steel is, it's merchandise based on my first published novel. It's a fantasy fiction novel called Dragon's Kin. The series is called The Circle of Steel Chronicles. So both of those are on Teespring, and you can find my Teespring Store link in the description below. Now, I also have a Facebook merchandise page and my Facebook author page, and those links will be in the description below as well. And if you want to throw me a friend request on Facebook, I put that link there for you as well, because I want to connect with you in a broader range, and this is the way to do it. Patreon, if you want to become a patron and pledge, you can pledge as low as $1 a month, and if you pledge further up, there are different rewards for you. There is a signed copy of my fantasy fiction novel, Dragon's Kin. There's t-shirts, there's draws, there is hoodies. You name it, there are rewards for you. Also, you can find me on Twitter at Pillar2Post77. And if you want to send me some wrestling-related stories that you've experienced, maybe you went to a live event, something big happened, something changed your view on the wrestling world and during that event, send me a story. I will tell your story here on Pillar to Post, and you can email that to me at steeldragon1234@hotmail.com, and that will also be in the description below. So we've taken care of all that. Let's lead into today's predictions. But before, actually, I want to talk about something. Now, I've discussed some issues I have with my health on the show before, and right before doing this podcast, I went to my email to make sure there was no emails from any viewers or what have you, and it's not the first time it's happened. I've had this happen 3 separate occasions. People using my email address to comment on my videos rather than put those comments in the video itself. And the comments that they make in my email don't make this big guy very happy. Now, I've explained on the podcast before the issues I have and the issues I've sustained from the accident I was in. I was a pedestrian. I was walking home one night, and a drunk driver hit me going 120 kilometers an hour. I was thrown 70 feet. My whole left side of my body was twisted, mangled, my back messed up. I have problems walking still. I'm actually supposed to be in a wheelchair. I fought that. I use a cane to get around. The fuck I'm going to go in a wheelchair. But I do have other problems. When I talk for long periods of time, I slur my words a bit. And the person that sent me the email today, actually it was last night. I guess he was viewing one of my live streams of the game, and he was complaining about the way I talk, the way I slur my words. He didn't care about the profanity. He said I sound like a drunk retard. You know, you get hit the way I did, you're going to walk away with issues. I had major head trauma, major brain injury, and I had to relearn how to read. I had to relearn how to write. And for the most part, I had to relearn how to pronounce words correctly. And the problem is, the longer I talk, the more I begin to slur my words, the more I begin to pause in what I'm saying. So if you hear that when I'm speaking, there is a reason behind it. It's not because I'm drinking alcohol. It's not because I'm a retard. It's because I have legitimate health issues that are related to these symptoms. And if you want to be a dick about it, put those comments in the video below. Not in my email. My email I give to you so you can send me stories of your experiences in the wrestling world. And if you want to send me personal stories that you'd like me to talk about on air, I'm willing to do that. But I don't give that email out for you to make stupid comments that it seems like you're trying to hurt me. You know what? I've gone through that part in my life. I've dealt with these issues since 1998. And I have overcome those issues. And I've overcome feeling shitty about myself because people think differently of the way I am now compared to what I was back then. Back then, I was a big guy. I was fit. I was in shape. I was proud. I was about to begin my wrestling career. I was about to begin my wrestling training, and that was all taken away from me. And I've had friends turn on me because they didn't want to be around someone that was in as much pain as I am in. I've gone through the name calling. I've gone through all that. I've surpassed it. So if you think you're going to hurt me by making comments like this, simply just unsubscribe. You know, if you don't like the way I speak, unsubscribe. Simple as that. I'm trying to build a loyal community here that we can work together to build this brand up, to build this channel up, and I go out of my way to help other channels out if they want advice. I give what advice I can because, you know what, it's something to do. You pass on the goodness. You know, when Red Rainer came up to me, he has the Heavyweight Mark channel. He came up to me. I never met him before. I never spoken to him. I never even heard of his channel. He contacted me on Twitter and said, look, I'm just starting out. I'm trying to do the same thing you are. You have any advice? You have any kind of thoughts that could help me out? And would you like to do a show with me, a podcast, in a joint effort to build both of our channels? I said, sure, why not? I have no problem with it. And I've been doing that with others as well. They ask me questions about what they could do differently or what they could change on their podcast. And me, I'm not that good of a podcaster yet myself. I've only got 108 subscribers. I am proud of those 108 subscribers. If you haven't noticed, I threw a draw for my 100th subscriber. You know, we had a draw that involved anyone that signed or commented on that video, and at the end of that week we had a draw, and Heavyweight Mark ended up being the winner because people can follow simple rule. Make sure I can see you on my subscription list and that you are a subscriber. I need to see that and leave a comment. People cannot grasp that. So I go out of my way to help people. I don't need these kind of comments in my personal email that I am using for taking orders for my merchandise or subscribers wanting to share their story with me and let me share them with the rest of the subscribers. I don't have it for you to be a dick. Okay? You want to be a dick? Fine. Be open about it. Put those comments in the video comments that you're watching. Okay? Be a man about it. Don't be a coward. Sending it to me personally tells me you're a coward. You don't want other people to see what you're writing. So please, stop doing it. That's all I ask. Now, we're going to move on because I don't like talking like that. I like to be positive as I possibly can. But it's hard to do when you're watching a show like Monday Night Raw and there is absolutely no creativeness or proper build up to a pay-per-view. This is what I've been talking about for months now. They have way too many pay-per-views on their match cards, on their pay-per-view cards, I should say. There's way too much. There's no proper build-up to storylines. What they do, well, we don't feel like working this month. We'll throw the top 5 guys into a match. Let's be lazy. That's what we're going to do this month. We're going to be lazy. They can fight it out in a fatal five-way. And the weeks leading up to the pay-per-view, we'll just alternate them in tag matches and singles matches. And that's what we'll give the fans. And that will be our build-up for the main event. And frankly, I'm sick of it. I want some creativeness. I said this on Shooting from the Hip last night. I asked Red Rayner who he would pick 2 guys to come back to help the creative team and the booking in WWE. Now, I know by far and large there is no more booking in WWE. It's straight 50-50 booking. But to bring it back to the glory days, you need the minds of certain individuals to make these shows more creative, more that they reach the fans on a different level. My picks were Jim Cornette, because this guy has a mind for wrestling. He has somewhat of a mind for creativeness as well, but to get a good wrestling show, you want Jim Cornette. And I'd say he'd be good for SmackDown. Now, I don't mind so much what Shane McMahon's doing for SmackDown, but it is lackluster as of late. So they need someone like Jim Cornette. For Raw, I'd say Eric Bischoff. Bring it back to its glory days. This guy has a mind for entertainment as well as wrestling. He knows how to book matches. He knows how to get the storylines that people want to see and that are unexpected. That's what I'd like to see happen. But instead, we get Hollywood scripters that don't know the product. Yes, you've got guys in there like Road Dogg, and you've got, Michael P.S. Hayes. No, Michael P.S. Hayes is a scout now. But you have guys like Road Dogg and other people that know the wrestling business, but it's not enough. You need a more well-rounded creative team. And getting people that don't know wrestling to do the job of scripting is bullshit. They need to take scripting out of it. Because all these wrestlers are too far scripted, and it's bullshit. It doesn't sound organic or a part of their character. So, my thoughts moving into Extreme Rules. You pretty much got it. You know, I'm watching it because I want to give you my results show, my reaction to the show, and my review. So that is the only reason I'm watching this. If it wasn't for that fact, I wouldn't be tuning in to Extreme Rules. Not a damn chance. Now, the main event of the night is the Universal title number 1 contenders match, and it will be defended in a fatal 5-way match. Your contenders: Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt versus Samoa Joe. And there's a lot of rumors going into this match, and we know that the winner will face Brock Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire, and the rumor is it'll be a one-off kind of deal. Dave Meltzer says this himself. This is a one-and-done match. So the winner will face Brock Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire and share a little feud for a month leading into Great Balls of Fire. He'll lose, be done with it, and Brock will give him... it gives Brock Lesnar a title defense under his belt. Basically, that's what they're doing with this match. Now, on paper, even without Lesnar and Strowman on the shelf, Raw has a pretty strong roster. They do. They just don't know how to use them. The top 7 male singles wrestlers are Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, The Miz, Samoa Joe, and Finn Balor. Now that is a good mix and a diverse talent pool, and most of them have some heel face flexibility. So the matches they have been having on Raw, for the most part, have been somewhat entertaining, and the guys are clearly working hard. But the problem is, the effort from the creative team is keeping them from gaining a lot of traction, and it's really holding down the entertainment aspect of it, and it's making the matches lackluster. You know, they've had some pretty good matches put on, but they don't mean anything. There's no substance behind it. And to me, that is a deterrent for anyone to tune in to a pay-per-view that has no build-up. No proper build-up whatsoever. They've mashed 5 guys together, threw it at us, mixed up some matches here and there on Raw. Fuck yourselves. That's it. That's what you're getting. Now, case in point, is there anything lazier, like I said, than the 5-way match at Extreme Rules, instead of crafting a 2 or 3 separate storylines that could fill out the card with deeply anticipated matches? WWE just threw 5 guys into the main event and has built up the pay-per-view over recent weeks by mixing together different multi-man matches. These matches have been largely good and take up time on the show, but it doesn't require a ton of creative effort to present them. And since these are matches with 50-50 booking and nothing is at stake, there is a limit to how successful they can be, even if technically they are good matches. And like I said, it's there's no creativeness there anymore. So how does this build up the anticipation? There's too much predictability in the matches as it comes out. We know Roman Reigns isn't going to win because he's scheduled to fight Brock Lesnar at next year's WrestleMania. So they want to keep Roman's distance far from Brock Lesnar right now, because that's going to ruin any kind of storyline leading into next year's WrestleMania. So we have Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt, Finn Balor, Dean Ambrose. Oh no, Dean Ambrose isn't in there. Who did I say again? See, this is how much I care. Samoa Joe. Yeah, so exclude Roman Reigns from that match. Okay, he's not winning. There's no way it's going to happen. So you got Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt, Samoa Joe. Now, in a recent Raw episode, we had Paul Heyman come out and butter up and kind of like really get Finn Balor's ego boosted, you know, that he would be the likely guy that he would like to see face Brock Lesnar at Extreme Rules. I mean, at Great Balls of Fire. He would be, you know, Paul Heyman's pick to win this Fatal 5-Way. He's got the talent, and he does, but he doesn't have the size or the strength to compete against a guy like Brock Lesnar. So let's say Finn Balor's gone. Okay, we're going to just take Finn Balor out of the picture. You got Samoa Joe, very likely candidate. Very likely. Even Jim Cornette said on, I think it's Dinner for Three on the WWE Network, that if he had a choice at next year's WrestleMania, he would pick Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar in a submission match. So that tells you a lot right there. Samoa Joe has what it takes to go against a guy like Brock Lesnar and make the match great. But there's still this feud between Seth Rollins and Samoa Joe. So are they going to just scrap that so that way Seth Rollins has a one and done against Brock Lesnar? I don't think so. I really don't. So scrap those two guys. So you've got Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns gone. Who does that leave you? You got Bray Wyatt. That is your only option for a one and done match. And I hate that he would be put in this predicament, because Bray Wyatt seems to be the most creative character on Raw, on SmackDown even. His promos are top notch. His wrestling ability is top notch. Now, this week we seen him in a triple threat with Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and I was really hoping to see some mixing it up between him and Samoa Joe. but it was just very minimal. You know, it was basically just to say, you know, Finn Balor has the heart, he's got the drive, he's got the endurance, he's got the mindset to compete against the big boys. That's all that match was about. And it pisses me off because Bray Wyatt is a wrestler I want to see on the top. I want to see him carrying the belt. I want to see him, you know, having a decent title reign. He got the title on SmackDown. Got traded. Well, no, they made him lose after like a month and trade him over to Raw. Now he's being used and guaranteed he's going to be used the wrong way at Extreme Rules. He's going to get decimated by Brock Lesnar. And that is going to be at Great Balls of Fire, at Extreme Rules, my pick, Bray Wyatt. That is the only option I can actually plausible see. So, like I said, it's the only plausible selection. Now, I'll be surprised if they pick someone else like Finn Balor. I wouldn't want to see Finn Balor hurt. But the way they've had him come back, you know, it just doesn't make sense. He was on the top. He was the first ever Universal Champion. Comes back, he doesn't even get a title shot. Makes no sense to me. Intercontinental Championship match between Dean Ambrose versus The Miz. Dean Ambrose, of course, your Intercontinental Champion. And the rule is, if Ambrose is disqualified, he will lose the Intercontinental title. So there's some scenarios that could play out here, and I'm going to tell you right now, my pick is The Miz, because everything works towards The Miz winning this match. He's got Maurice at ringside, so obviously she's going to be interfering in the match. Now, if you watch the match between, the Drifter, Elias Sampson, on this week's Raw, he sang a tune and basically stated he owes the A-lister a favor. Now, we all know that The Miz had Dean Ambrose disqualified in Elias Sampson's debut match against Dean Ambrose. So is Elias Sampson going to be involved in this match? And it is a very good guess that he will be. And so you've got two players that can get involved in this match still. Maurice, as well as the Drifter, Elias Sampson. So everything works in The Miz's favor. All it takes is either Maurice getting involved, attacking her own husband to get him disqualified, or Elias Sampson returning the favor. You know what? When it comes to Dean Ambrose, we've seen this match many times already. We've seen it on SmackDown. They were feud there. We've seen it replay all over again here on Raw, and it has been boring. Dean Ambrose as a champion, for the most part, is a very boring champion. His promos suck. His fighting style gets lazier as he becomes champion. I don't know if it's just my opinion or if it's opinion of many. But when it comes to Dean Ambrose, he doesn't have that spark that gets people out of their seats. Now, every now and then, he'll do something that is off the wall, and it'll get the fans popping for him. But it's few and far between. And as Intercontinental Champion, he is not a draw. The Miz will be your 7-time Intercontinental Champion. That I can guarantee. And I pretty much can see Elias Sampson and Maurice both getting involved. So, you can look at for your new Intercontinental Champion at Extreme Rules being The Miz. Up next, Raw Women's Championship match. Alexa Bliss versus Bayley in the worst ever kind of match you can think of, and that would be kendo stick on a pole match. And everything leading up to this match has been complete and utter garbage. Alexa Bliss was a star. She was getting pops when she was on SmackDown. She comes over to Raw, she wins the women's title, and she gets stuck with, in the in the life of Bayley, or This is the Life of Bayley. The worst segment in many, many years when it comes to promos in WWE. I cannot believe how bad this was. And this wouldn't have been her pick to do. This was thrust upon her by creative. And when you even hear commentators say, this is hard to watch. But I give credit to Alexa Bliss. She pulled through it. She pulled through it. She was stuck with it. And you could see she was not comfortable doing it. You could see it was not fit for her character to do. It was bad back in the day when Mick Foley and The Rock did this. It was by far 10 times worse when they made and forced this upon Alexa Bliss. This segment, this promo, was a big career ender. It was for her promo. Now, it's not going to end her career, but I mean, if it would have been anyone else, you could have kissed their career goodbye. They would have been put on the back burner, and we would have never heard of them again. Alexa Bliss has the strength to pull past this. I don't know about this match. I think the way Raw works, they like to flip-flop the titles a lot. I don't see Alexa Bliss taking her title reign further past 2 weeks than what she's been given. I think Bayley is going to be your new women's champion on Raw, just based on what's been going on leading up to this. This is the life of Bayley bullshit. All the attacks and all the beatdowns that Bayley's suffered, they're going to have her overcome and become your new Raw Women's Champion. It is just something that I can see. Am I interested in this match at all? No, because by far and large, anything on the pole match sucks balls. Okay, there has never been a good anything on a pole match. Be it a chair, be it a kendo stick, be it whatever. There's never been a good match. So, moving on. We got the Raw Tag Team Championship match, and that is the Hardy Boys, who are your Raw Tag Team Champions, versus Cesaro and Sheamus, and that was decided on being a steel cage match, and surprisingly, it was the Hardys that chose this match. I figured if the Hardys won their match, they would be choosing a TLC type match or a ladder match, but no, this ended up being different, steel cage. Now, there's a lot of rumors out there. There's a lot of speculations about why. Is this going to develop into the Hardys becoming broken? Is the broken universe coming? And if you've seen all the crap that goes on Twitter between the Hardys and Anthem and Impact, I have no fucking clue. I really don't. This is a match basically set up for Sheamus and Cesaro. It is. It is a bruisers match. These are matches usually where the big guys have control. Now, I can see Jeff Hardy, as well as Cesaro, climbing to the very top of that cage and diving off. I can see that happening. So I don't see this as being a bad match. I just thought it was kind of left field, you know, the steel cage match and the Hardys picking it. You would have thought if it would have been Sheamus and Cesaro winning, this would have been the type of match they would have chose. I expected something more along the lines for the high-flying duo when it comes to picking a match. But it is what it is. I'm going to go with Sheamus and Cesaro just because this match basically is set up for their win. And frankly, if you look at all the losses they've taken against the Hardys lately in singles competition, this is the match where they redeem themselves and they overcome the Hardy Boys and become your new Raw Tag Team Champions. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is Cesaro and Sheamus' win. From there, we go to the WWE Cruiserweight Championship match, and it's Neville, who's your King of the Cruiserweights and your Cruiserweight Champion, and he'll be facing Austin Aries in what has been decided in a submission match. Now, if you look through everything, Aries' loss at WrestleMania to Neville, Aries' loss at the next pay-per-view or Monday Night Raw to him, everything that's been built up for Neville to look good, to be the king of the cruiserweights. This is a match. Yes, they both use submission moves. You have Neville using the Rings of Saturn. You have Austin Aries utilizing the Last Chancery. And we had Neville tap out to the Last Chancery this week on Raw. So Aries has the momentum going into this pay-per-view, into Extreme Rules. He has that momentum. He also has the momentum of being on the losing end so many times. So, like I said with Cesaro and Sheamus, this is the match where he overcomes, and he is your next Cruiserweight champion. It's built towards him, you know? All the losses he's taken, all the abuse he's taken, all the sneak attacks from TJP, from Neville, this is all built up to take him to the top of the cruiserweights. Austin Aries makes Neville tap out at Extreme Rules. And last, not that I give a shit about this match at all, mixed tag team match. Rich Swann and Sasha Banks versus Noam Dar and Alicia Fox. Does anyone really care about this match? This should be a kickoff show match, you know, a pre-show match. That's all this is. I really somehow missed how this all got started. How Sasha Banks started going over to 205 Live and partnering up with Rich Swann. I really don't understand that. I know there's been, you know, this back and forth between Alicia Fox and Sasha Banks. Noam Dar's got involved. Some, you know, I do understand that part. It just doesn't make sense to me, and it doesn't make me care about the match at all. You're going to have the faces win out here. Rich Swann and Sasha Banks are going to take the win over Noam Dar and Alicia Fox, just because it is the likely choice to pick, and it just screams an I don't give a shit kind of mood match. This match will probably be put in that that death slot, like they call it, and right before the main event, and it'll, you know, it won't generate any kind of reaction. It won't. I'll be surprised if it's not put in the death slot, because the death slot can usually determine if the match before goes too long, this match might get cut. I kind of would like to see that. I'd like to see this match taken off the card, because it's no importance to me at all. None whatsoever. So, that is my previews and predictions for WWE's Raw's exclusive Extreme Rules. You know what? I want you to do me a favor. In the comments below, tell me what you think would help fix a lot of the issues when it comes to WWE as a whole. Now, NXT is doing very well with what they're doing. I'm talking about SmackDown and Raw. What could you see being a big change and bettering the product in WWE as it is right now? Because, frankly, it needs a hell of a lot of help. And I think with creative minds like Jim Cornette and Eric Bischoff working together to better the product, I think that would go a long way. What are your thoughts? Leave a comment below. This has been Pillar to Post, and as always, I am Pete Wall. If you enjoyed the podcast, please hit that subscribe button. If you are not a subscriber, hit that little bell to give you notifications every time I upload and live stream. And VidMe followers, please hit that upvote. You know, help this channel grow, because it seems like I've kind of come to a stalemate here when it comes to my wrestling content. I was doing really well. I was starting to build up. I was getting a lot of views, especially on NXT. I was almost at 1,000 views. And then the whole adpocalypse began, and I've gone from being growing to a stalemate. Now, I do have some new subscribers. I do want to give a shout out to them. I want to thank you for joining the channel and helping the channel grow. It means a lot to me. It really does. But I just don't understand what's going on. And I'm really hoping that the rumors are correct, that they're going to fix the whole wrestling content related podcast thing. And we will start getting more ads. We will, they're going to fix it so that way our notifications are reaching our subscribers, and we're getting put on that area where people can actually see our podcast instead of being restricted as being bad content. So I'm hoping that pulls through soon. I'm hoping that my viewership starts to grow once again, because it is very important to me, because it doesn't matter if I get 14 views, 4 views. I'm still going to do what I'm going to do. Now, I'm going to improve on the way and change things up a little bit. But by far and large, this is what I love to do, people. I'm going to keep on doing it. I'm going to keep on bringing you content when it comes to wrestling content, gaming, and, life in general. Like I said, I'm going to be uploading some videos on the build of my son's 68 Polara. I'm doing that all on this channel. I like to be a well-rounded man, keeping my fingers in all avenues when it comes to this podcast. So I want to thank you for joining me once again. Please continue to follow, and I will see you. Actually, later tonight, I got to do another podcast yet. I haven't done any other ones besides Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and my live streams and this show. And I need to do something with news and rumors as well, and I want to try and get some footage of the Polara build. So stick with the channel, people. There is a lot coming. Thank you very much for tuning in. This has been Pillar to Post.